Hi, hot listeners. Welcome to episode 37 of Husband and Wife Talks, and happy belated Valentine's Day. On today's episode, we will discuss Valentine's Day recap, my obsession with water bottles, and some fun podcasts and ideas and discussion of iOS app development. So stay tuned.
Hello, Marta. How's it going, Boo Bear?
It's going great.
It's going great. This is episode 37 of Husband and Wife Talks. You got that?
Yes, it is. Episode 37 already. Wow.
Recorded on February 20th. This day, there's two to be exact, national holidays. One seems very apt and should actually be a holiday every day if you own this creature. Or any creature. That's your... Yeah.
It's National Love Your Pet Day because that intro took way too long.
We're back, folks. Do you have anything to say about it?
I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. National Love Your Pet Day is the day that you recognize that you should love your pets. You should take your pet to the pet spa and get groomed and buy your pet new little toys.
What happens? How do you celebrate it if you don't have a pet? I feel like
you go get one.
Go get one, or you just go volunteer at a shelter, or be nice to the pets that are around you. Since we see them every day here in Colorado, since dogs are, seems like it's a mandatory thing here.
A dog and a Subaru is what they say. But actually, this is my mantra. I saw someone share it on Facebook the other day.
So is it your mantra or somebody on Facebook's mantra?
Well, someone shared it on Facebook. It was like a post of somebody else.
So now you're claiming it for your own.
No, I'm just saying I like it.
Oh, okay.
Life is short. Adopt a dog. Adopt another dog. Then adopt a third dog. Maybe that one needs a buddy. Grab one more just in case.
So is that 4 or 5 dogs? I didn't count.
You adopt a dog.
1.
You adopt another dog.
2.
Then adopt a third dog.
3.
Maybe that one needs a buddy. Grab one more.
So 4. 4 total. It's telling you to have 4 dogs.
Guess how many I have?
0.
Also, I was like scrolling through. Oh, I think I was looking for something through our old texts.
Mm-hmm.
Like for some specific
Are you about to guilt trip me on the podcast?
And I saw in our past texts that I was like, oh, I really want a dog. Nothing new. And then I was like, oh, I promise when we finally get settled, we'll get a dog. Settled into our old apartment in Maryland where we have lived a year. And I am still dogless.
But every time we plan on getting a dog, we think about all...
Yeah.
But like the things we have to think about.
Boring adult stuff.
Yeah, we got to figure out who we're going to take care of it if we go away for a week, or since we're traveling a lot recently or in the near future, is it worth it to get a dog now just to then take it away for a week and put it into a shelter of some kind?
Yeah, you're just kind of being a little bit of a party pooper right now. I just wanted to get excited about having a dog. And
also, to be fair to all the listeners out there, I'm not always the party pooper when it comes to getting a dog. I'm sometimes all in on getting a dog, and then it's Marta that's saying these things like, oh, what if we go skiing for the weekend? What are we going to do with the dog then, especially if it's a little puppy? So don't give me that.
Yikes. I was trying to do a little guilt trip and it got turned around. So let's just move on. And if you're sitting there listening wondering, so what's the answer? Are you guys going to get a dog? The question is, not yet.
We 100% will in our life. I guarantee that.
Unless I get hit by a bus tomorrow.
Don't say that.
I'm just saying, I can't guarantee it. I would hope so.
Man, that made me depressed.
I'm sorry.
I don't like thinking about that.
I just mean in crazy scenarios in which the likelihood is small, but, you should be living in the day and living in the present, which is why sometimes I just want to drive to the shelter and get a dog.
That reminds me of the myth in college where it says if you get hit by a campus bus, they pay your tuition for free. I don't think that's actually true. But you could sue the campus, I guess, so that it comes free tuition.
That reminds me of one of my fave shows, Parks and Recreation. It's what is it? I almost called it a rom-com, a sitcom.
Sitcom,
right?
yeah.
A rom-com. It's definitely not right.
Set like a documentary style, kind of like The Office.
Yeah. So I personally like Parks and Rec more than The Office because The Office is a little more cringeworthy. I think they're both funny.
I think it depends on the type of humor that you like. Whether The Office is very cringeworthy thanks to Michael Scott, and Parks and Rec is just kind of like goofy humor more so than cringeworthy.
Yeah, but the whole getting hit by a bus thing reminds me when John Ralphio was talking to Tom, two characters in the show, and he was saying he made money by getting hit by Alexis. And I can't do the voice he did in it, but he was like, I got run over by Alexis. And he got paid a bunch of money because of that. But he has a lot of really funny lines.
The next holiday, which is not somehow Pet Day, got us to Parks and Rec, so there's something for y'all. But the next holiday is National Cherry Pie Day, and I honestly don't know how you fall on cherry pie. Do you like cherry pie?
I'm honestly not big on pies.
Just in general?
The only pie I love is the one that I always had on Thanksgiving.
Pumpkin cheesecake.
That's not a pie. Pecan pie is a pie.
It's literally a pie.
It's literally pumpkin cheesecake.
So is pumpkin pie also cheesecake, or is it like
no, pumpkin pie is a pie.
But why? What makes it a pie then? If it's literally the same consistency as the pumpkin cheesecake. We're getting into one of those dumb arguments that Alan sends us. You said it like 6 times in the last podcast. I think we're okay.
Okay, so I Googled pie, which I feel really silly about because I know what a pie is. But according to Google, actually this is pulled from Wikipedia. So according to Wikipedia, a pie is a baked dish which is usually made of a pastry dough casing that covers or completely contains a filling of various sweet or savory ingredients.
Sounds like the pumpkin cheesecake pie to me.
It doesn't have a pastry dough, though. That's the difference. The dough is... A pumpkin cheesecake recipe that I use does not have a pastry-like dough. I'm serious.
It's like brown sugar. It's like graham crackers.
I'm pulling up the recipe,
Oh, no,
folks.
it's I can't remember. It's like brown sugar, ginger snaps, and you ground it all together.
Brown sugar, butter, ginger snap cookies, and pecans. So that's not pastry at all. That's like, it's not a pastry. Whereas usually traditional pies, like a pumpkin pie or apple or any pie you would buy in a grocery store, has that pastry type consistency. That's why I think it's not called a pie.
So you don't like pumpkin pie at all?
Not really, no.
No? You only like pecan? Pecan!
I mean, I'm really picky about desserts. I don't like most store-bought desserts because I don't think that they're made with quality ingredients.
I have to give a shout-out, though, to the Amish market back in Mullica Hill, New Jersey, who they made some delicious pies in my younger days. And one of my favorites was an apple cranberry pie. It was delicious.
Is that your recommendation for the week?
No, I have a recommendation. Another podcast recommendation, which I wish came last week, but I found it out this week. It's a teaser. But I guess we could move on from pie discussion to discuss what we've actually been up to this week, since everybody wants to know.
Yeah.
What have we been doing? Especially because this month has been a crazy travel week for the love of my life over there. Travel month, sorry.
Yeah, February's been cray.
And she's about to head out
on another thing, but you have to wait for the next podcast for that. Sorry.
Ooh.
Teaser.
Such a tease, babe.
Okay, it sounds weird. But yeah, what we've been up to.
Don't I say that sounds normal?
What don't you say? That sounds normal.
Case in point.
But that itself doesn't even make sense.
All right, go.
Anyway, go?
Yeah, go. What have you been up to?
I have a funny story.
Oh, I can't wait. Oh, I have a discussion point, too, that I wanted to talk to you about.
Well, I have a funny story that literally happened about an hour ago.
Okay. Was I there?
I actually walked in as the funny story was happening. I have to share. It's so funny.
Of course. Yeah. Put me on the spot. Shine a light on me. Sure. Just make a fool out of me. Just kidding. Go. I don't care.
A fool. It's cute and it's funny.
It's fine. I don't care.
So, I'm going to tell it regardless. It doesn't matter. But anyway. So, I was cleaning up some like clothes that we had, accidentally left on the floor or whatever. We're not perfect. And I saw some socks. So I started picking them up, Adam's socks. And then I saw a sock under the bed. So I reached under and I picked that one up. And then as I was picking that one up, I saw one just a little bit further. So I reached under even further and picked that one up. And then I was using my phone as a flashlight. So I left my phone angled so I could see under. And then I saw 2 more socks literally in the middle of the bed, like under, so I couldn't reach with my hand. So then I have this like back scratcher thing that I bought. It's like a piece of plastic that looks like an S, but then it has all these little things sticking out, so it's supposed to massage your back or whatever
and everything.
Yeah. But anyway, so then I went and grabbed that and then shoved that under the bed to reach the last 2 socks. And needless to say, then I had to go to the other side, under my side, to reach it because it's actually closer. But you might be wondering right now, why are there so many socks under Adam's side of the bed? And that's actually a great question. But when Adam sleeps, or not when he sleeps, like during not sleeping time.
When I wake up and get changed is the normal terminology for that.
I call it not sleeping time. Right now is not sleeping time.
That's how you tell time throughout the day. It's either sleeping time or not sleeping time.
That's correct.
Fits in with your style, Boo Bear.
Thank you. But anyway, so during not sleeping time, Adam puts his PJs, which I still think is kind of gross, to be honest, putting your PJ socks under your pillow because you put your face on your pillow.
It's like I put all my PJs underneath my pillow so they're not out on the bed.
Well, actually, you put your shirt and your pants under the pillow, but the socks get knocked right past the mattress.
I'm on full blast right now, and I'm not feeling good about it.
Okay, it was really funny. And then when you walked in, I like barely heard you because my head was under the bed frame. And you came in.
I was like, are you in the closet? Did you go into an alternate dimension? Like, where are you? You sound so far away.
Yeah, you came in, and I was like, I barely heard him, but I think I hear Adam. And then I said, hey. And you're like, what are you doing? And then I told him. This literally happened an hour ago, and it was really funny and cute. Yeah, just like a little thing that happens during the day that you just make light of and laugh. I guess I didn't really have to make light of it. It wasn't like sad. But yeah. So, that's my funny story. Adam, would you like to give a funny story or
give a funny story? Put me on the spot. I don't really have.
No, it doesn't have to be a funny story or just like whatever.
A frustrating story was today when it's like the worst thing. Okay, that's a little extreme. Worst thing is when you go off to work and you forget something at home that you need at work and you have to drive all the way back. In my case, my dumb head didn't realize it until I got literally to the parking spot and I realized, oh wait, I need something to get up the elevator
because you and I switched cars this morning.
Yes.
That's why.
But I completely forgot and I was so angry at myself, which reminds me, oh, there it is. I gotta make sure I don't forget that tomorrow. So I gotta put it on the doorknob. But this discussion point that I mentioned earlier, I think I'm gonna save it because we have another topic this week. But I think it's an actually interesting topic to discuss later on for another episode. So stay tuned, man. We're teasing left and right. We're being big teases right now.
I mean, it's good. That's how you get people interested.
They're like, oh, maybe I should stay for that next episode.
Yeah, maybe you should listen to all the episodes and go back to episode
0. Maybe
not 0 because that's the first one we recorded, so we're probably really nervous.
I really feel like we need to redo that one.
We're probably like, my name is Marta, my name is Adam, and welcome to Husband-Wife Talk. Okay, bye.
Yeah, I remember you were super nervous for that one.
Yeah, now I'm just like chilling like a villain.
Going with the flow. That's why I figure like we should redo that one because I see people listen to it, and every time I see that number, because it's consistently like in the top 10 of downloaded with each week, and I'm
That's
like,
funny.
Maybe we should adjust that so more people will join, because now we're more flowy and we're definitely better at this whole podcasting thing. Whew, I got a paper cut. But one of the fun things we did this week is we saw Lego Movie Part 2. We were so hyped about it. We don't normally go to movies that often, but when there's a movie that both Marta and I really want to see, we're definitely going to be in the theaters for it. If there's a movie that I definitely want to see, like the next Avengers, I'll probably just be in the theater by myself. But
I don't think you need to go to the theater by yourself if there's a movie that only you need to see.
no, because I want to see it the day it comes out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I can't wait that long.
Gotcha.
Certain movies. Sorry.
You can't wait.
I can't. Physically impossible for me.
That's incredible. Physically impossible to have patience.
Okay. Let's get back to the Lego Movie Part 2. Really enjoyed it. I thought, because we had the discussion afterwards, if we liked it more than the first one or if we liked it less than the first one. Me personally, I think I liked it a little less because I think it was just as good, but the first one had like the surprise factor of how good it actually was. I wasn't expecting the first one to hit with me so much, like enjoy it a lot. And this one I came into with the expectations like, oh, I know the humor. I know what's going to be discussed, or not discussed, what like the characters are, so I understand their type of humor. And I enjoyed it still, though. And it had like a nice touching message, I guess, sort of.
It was funny. Yeah, and I liked the subliminal messages for adults watching it. I would agree, though. I liked the first one better, but it was still pretty funny and entertaining.
It's always good to go. It's always like interesting to go back and watch older like kid movies and realize the adult things that are mentioned in the movie when you don't realize it.
Yeah.
As a kid, and like I feel like that's going to happen in like these Lego movies and all the other. Because I want to go back and watch some of the Pixar movies, and they do that really well. And yeah, but highly recommend. If you saw the first one, go see it. If you haven't seen the first one, what the heck you doing? You're missing out on a fun movie. And
I mean, I can't really be the person judging people for not seeing movies because I'm usually that person being judged. So,
but like the first Lego movie, I feel like you can find it relatively easy and rent it for cheap-ish. But I think also one of the benefits and the cool things of watching those movies is like just the animation that they do for everything being Lego. I remember in the first one that I thought I was really impressed by there's a scene where they're like in the ocean and it was like all Lego looking. It was just really cool. And I really enjoyed that and how they went about doing all like every animation is like Lego styled.
Yeah. Pretty impressive.
Yeah. But we did something even more fun in our minds anyway, right?
This weekend?
Yeah.
I don't know what was more fun.
Yeah,
they were both fun for different reasons.
That's true. We do. But I really enjoy doing this. We went to bookstores. It seems like a consistent thing for us to do. I like always, when in doubt, I like just walking around bookstores and see all the new books out or go to used bookstores, which we did. We went to one used bookstore.
Went to Barnes & Noble and then...
It was like the book rack or something.
Yeah, I don't remember. It was all used, like, and some of them looked really
worn,
old and worn out. And I was like, and they also looked like fantasy novels, or not fantasy, romance.
Good section of them were romance novels
with like the paperback part or the what is it called?
Paperback spine.
The spines were really worn down.
But I think that's going and supporting those used bookstores is like a good thing.
Yeah,
because you can find good deals relative to what the price is on Amazon. Because I know I bought a few that were like $3 cheaper than what you would see a paperback on Amazon. It was still relatively good quality. So, highly recommend checking out those used bookstores there. It's like a family. It feels more of like intimate. Like the ownership and everything.
Yeah, that's true. didn't find as many. Well, I didn't really find any books that I was super into, but we did find a few together that we'll probably both read. So
Malcolm Gladwell books, which I hear good things about him. So
they all had national bestseller on the cover, I'm pretty sure. So
he just sends them out, just shoots them out,
and they're all good quality, I suppose. So I'm excited to read them.
Yeah, I got plenty of books to get on. I feel like I'm 60% done the one book that I've been reading.
Nice.
Yeah, I've been enjoying it.
What book is that? Would you like to share?
I forget the exact title.
Is that the name of it, or are you actually forgetting?
Oh, no, I'm forgetting the exact title. But it's about, I think it's like, I don't know how the Osage Indian reservation or Native American reservation back in like the 1900s, and how there was like a string of murders going on there. It was like the beginning formations of the FBI under J. Edgar Hoover, and like trying to solve that mystery, because back then it was more difficult. But like the big thing is that those Native Americans actually, through the deal that one of their lawyers got them when they moved to this land, is that they just by luck found a bunch of land, or they settled on land that just was filled with oil. So every time somebody like drained the oil or would get oil, like the money would end up going back to the people that owned the land. So it was like there were like rich Native Americans, and now there's like a plot going on of people, I think, that's leaning towards people trying to thin out the herd of Native Americans as they're slowly trying to incorporate or like take over the land, kind of. And now the FBI is there trying to solve the case. So it's kind of got a little murder mystery in its history. So it's right up my alley.
Definitely not up my alley at all.
I'll look up the book title while you continue.
Cool. So something else, I guess I just totally forgot that this literally happened less than a week ago, because I don't know. I just lost track of time. But last week, as part of my traveling every 5 seconds mantra in February, I went to Arizona in the middle of the week for work. There was a training that I needed to take, and it was offered in Arizona in person. So I went there, and I got to see my bestie and hang out with her and see her beautiful home. So that was fun. I was literally there for like less than 24 hours. Yeah, because I landed really late, and then I had a evening flight the next day. But that was like the definition of a whirlwind trip for me. Mm-hmm. I landed at like 9. By the time I got to the rental car place, it was like, excuse me, 9:30, and then the rental car place in the Phoenix airport, you have to take a separate shuttle for, and the line to get on the shuttle from the airport was so long. So wait in the line for the shuttle, and then finally got my car. And then, funny story, when I rented the car, I got a Ford Fiesta, because I booked it through work and got like the cheapest car or whatever, because I was there for literally one day. And I'm pretty sure, so on my current car, the lights are automatic. And on my old car, they weren't, but that was a 2001. Mm-hmm. And I like knew to turn on the lights every time or whatever. And so never driven a Ford. First time actually renting a car by myself, so I feel like a big girl.
She's a big girl now.
So I get in this Ford Fiesta, and I'm like, okay, this is definitely different than my car. No offense to Fords, but definitely like my Honda better. And then driving on the highway, like I could have sworn several people like flashed their lights at me, and I was like, people in Arizona need to calm down. I don't see what the deal is. And then I'm pretty sure I realized my lights were not on.
That's not good.
So
unsafe.
Yeah. But I mean, it's funny to look back on. And then I finally got to my friend's house, and I told her, and it was it was 10:30, but the next morning I had to like meet with a teammate and have the training. So it was like we stayed up and talked, and then woke up 5 hours later to go get breakfast together. And then I had a meeting in the morning, and then I had the training, and then I went off back to the airport.
You've been a night owl recently. This whole month.
Yeah, but when I was back in Maryland, I went to bed at 2 a.m. each night I was there. And then in Arizona, I got 5 hours of sleep. Truly crazy. But I'm very thankful for this past week. For the past, I guess, 6 days since I've been back. It's been nice not traveling anywhere.
And then you're off again.
But stay tuned.
But I can see that the traveling was wearing you down, though, when you came back that day, this past, or last week?
Last Thursday, on Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm.
But the training and all the travel was all worth it. I mean, besides the whole, like, seeing my best friend and all that. But I won a free water bottle at the training. I was so excited.
Yeah, she was hyped about this water bottle on the drive back when
Well,
I picked her
also-
up. Got her flowers, by the way, but she didn't mention that since she's been mentioning flowers ever.
I haven't gotten to Valentine's Day yet. That's on the bullet point of what I'm going to talk about.
Oh.
But, so, a little backstory, because I almost got really mad, and then I was like, this water bottle is probably worth $20, so I need to really calm down. So, in the training, there was 2 different quizzes or like mini competitions where the winner gets a water bottle.
And also, before she gets into the story, I don't think we've clarified how, what's the right term? Not obsessed, but how into water bottles Marta is.
Love them.
Whenever we walk by water bottles in like Target or any store, I have to like pull her along because she stops and just stares at them as we walk by because she's like trying to scope out the new ones, because apparently that's just the thing she likes to collect besides candles. Candles get burned out. Water bottles stay forever.
That's true.
But why were you so aggressive with trying to obtain this water bottle? Or disappointed if you didn't?
I'm trying to find the exact brand for my other water bottle enthusiasts. I think it's a Mira stainless steel vacuum insulated water bottle. I think that's exactly what it is. But it's branded with my company's name, so it looks even cooler, and I'm advertising them everywhere I go, so good for them. But anyway, so I really wanted this one because it's a Mira, I think, but it's like they're just like the Swell water bottles, if you know what a Swell water bottle is. People probably like, I don't know what the F you're talking about, and that's okay. I don't judge you. As long as you don't judge me for having seen like 10 movies total in my life. But anyway, so they're super sleek looking. They're skinny, and then they get, or they're like medium, and then they get super skinny at the top. And they insulate your water, either really cold or if it's warmer, I think it'll insulate the temperature regardless. And I just like free water bottles, so I was excited. I mean, even if it was a cheap one, I want it. So we have this competition at the training, and we're learning about like where to find certain things in this database or system or whatever. So the first competition was to find 3 out of 4 of these scenarios online, like where we were taught about them and where they were. And I literally raised my hand at the same time another guy did, because we both finished first, because I was like, I've never done any assignment faster in my life than I have right here, right now, to get this water bottle.
I picture you like sweat dripping down your brow as you're like focusing real hard on your computer trying to find
I mean, I
things.
probably was.
As other people are sitting back, probably not even trying.
Yeah, I was deaf the teacher's pet. So then both of us finished at the same time. We both raised our hand, and the instructor goes over to that person and is like, oh, yeah. You got all 3 of the 4 that you had to get or whatever. And that person gets the water bottle, and I...
Doesn't even mention you.
Doesn't even mention me. Walks right past me. And I almost was like, excuse me, do I get a water bottle? Then I was like, how embarrassing would that be? Like, this is a professional setting. So anyway, then I was sitting at the same table where the instructor was presenting from and where that second water bottle was. So part of me just wanted to overextend my arm and snag it and just maintain eye contact to show that I am full of power plays. But I realized that would also be highly inappropriate. Mm-hmm. So then I decided, you know what? The next competition, the next quiz, I have to win that water bottle at all costs. So that's what I did. We had our next quiz competition. Sweat going down my brows. I was like, I have to find these 3 items or 4 items or whatever it was. And someone raised their hand.
Dun, dun, dun.
And I was like, Well, I guess I already gave the spoiler because I said I want a free water bottle. But at that point, my heart
sank.
It didn't stop, but I was like, no, but I really wanted that water bottle. And then the instructor came over, and that person did not have all 3 or all 4 or whatever. So then the race was on.
Yay!
And then somebody else was like, I got it. And then theirs was wrong too. There was like at least 2 people before me that had the wrong things.
So your heart sank twice.
And then I kept going. I was like, I have to find the last one that I'm missing. And then I did.
Your poor little heart.
And then I raised my hand, and he came over and checked my work and gave me the water bottle. I was so excited. I was so happy. I sound like such a dork, but I don't care.
Hey, you like water bottles.
I drink a lot of water, and I feel like I go through water bottles, not fast. I mean, I'm literally looking at 3 different ones in the span of just our living room. But I just like having different ones for different occasions.
Mm-hmm.
So, sue me. But yeah, want a water bottle. Also, the building where my training was literally like a month old, if not newer. So it was so nice, brand new. Oh, I also have another funny story about coffee. So I never drink coffee. Well, I drink like iced coffee with a ton of sugar and creamer and stuff I shouldn't be drinking anyway. But I don't drink coffee on the daily.
On the daily? Never heard that used before.
Whatever. I don't drink coffee every day. So
I liked it. Very hip of you.
At this super fancy building. Actually, my company, in any office, they have these like fancy coffee machines, but I'm not always in the offices. I'm working at other places, so I don't always get to take advantage of it. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to be a big girl. I'll make myself a coffee in this machine. So I'm thinking, you know what? It's kind of hot. So I'm going to make myself an iced drink. Right? So
didn't contact me beforehand, just as like a heads up
also,
of what you need to do.
10:55 and the training starts at 11, and I'm over here in front of this massive coffee machine trying to figure it out. So I was kind of feeling rushed. And keep in mind, I'm sitting at the same table that the instructor is presenting from, so it'd be pretty obvious if I walked in front of everybody and took my seat late. So I was really trying to rush. So go in, and I'm like, oh, what do I want? I don't want hot chocolate. That's for babies. I'm an adult. I drink coffee now. Now meaning just this one day of my life. So I click iced coffee, and the instruction is grab a 12-ounce cup and fill it up with ice. I was like, okay, I can do that. I am a big girl. So I filled it up with, first of all, it took me like at least 45 seconds to find the ice, because all the cabinets were all nice and everything was super organized and super sleek. I was like, where's that freaking ice machine? So I finally found it. And then I got my ice anyway. So I pressed the brew button for the iced coffee. I was like, hurry up. My training's now in 4 minutes. I really gotta go. And it gets I get my iced coffee and I look at it. I'm like, oh my gosh, this looks so good. I cannot wait to have my iced coffee in the training.
Now, did it look black or did it look like filled with cream?
I don't know, because I covered it up and ran to the room. I didn't give it any attention. But at this point, I'm running on 5 hours of sleep because I stayed up so late talking to my friend. And I was so tired. And, I do not run on 5 hours of sleep anymore.
No.
I don't run on less than, 7.5, or else...
It's more like 9.
Okay, I'm trying to make myself not sound like a toddler here. But
You're not
anyway.
a toddler. You just need your sleep.
So, I don't remember the last time I got 5 hours of sleep. Probably...
College, probably.
Probably college. So yeah, I'm sitting in the training. I have my coffee. I'm super excited. I'm like, this is going to wake me up. It's going to taste delicious. I take a sip and I almost spit it back into the cup. It was so gross. It was literally, I was texting Adam later because I couldn't text him during the training. But I was like, I made iced coffee and it was so bitter. He was like, did you add any creamer or sugar? I was like, no. So you were like, well, what do you expect? But I thought, since it was iced coffee and it was a fancy machine that can make lattes and cappuccino and blah, 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 I thought it could at least sprinkle in something for me.
Iced coffee is normally just the coffee without the creamer. When you order at any place, they'll ask you if you want cream in it or space for cream in it. They don't put it just directly.
This is my issue. I never order anything.
Yeah, you've only had the one experience, or not one experience, the experience at First Watch. That's the only time you order iced coffee, and they put plenty of creamer and sugar in it.
That's why I like it.
Yeah, I know.
I don't get it because I like coffee. I get it because it tastes nice and sweet. But anyway, I was so disappointed after that. And then I was I was in a training, and I wasn't supposed to be on my phone, so I couldn't even like text Adam and ask him where I went wrong for the longest time. But it was so bad.
But you redeemed yourself because you got French vanilla, right?
I got a French vanilla something, and I was like, this is so good. So
I'm sure you actually said that in your head.
I did. That was a really weird day. Like, I felt really out of it because I was so tired.
Mm-hmm. And
then I kept thinking about the Ford. Oh, because when I rented the car, the guy was like, is a Ford Fiesta okay? And I said, I'm sure. I don't need it for a long time. It doesn't have to be. I'm not going to press him to try to get an upgrade or anything. And then he's like, great. A Ford Fiesta is a party on wheels. And I looked at him like, did you just say that? At that point, I was like, I need to leave. I don't want to hear about this party on wheels.
I need to go.
Also, definitely not a party on wheels. Just
definitely a struggle bus.
Yeah, and there was nowhere to put my phone that I was using for Google Maps. So I put it in the Ford, in the Fiesta model. It has like the switch. What is it called?
Transmission? Is that what you're talking? Stick shift?
The stick shift thing, yeah. And then it has like a very small cutout where you could put maybe a Roku remote. It's about that wide. And then in depth, I don't know why I said Roku, like any TV remote. And then in depth, it's like probably 2 remotes worth. So nothing really fits there. It's pretty shallow. And it was almost like tilting down. So anyway, I put my phone there to use it as a prop up. Mm-hmm. But when I was turning like 2 miles away from my friend's house, the phone slid from there all the way into the passenger side on the floor in the corner. And I was like peeking over trying to see what the directions were. I was like, this is really dangerous. But I had the volume on, luckily. So she was like, 0.2 miles, turn left on blah, blah, blah.
So the way it sounded was probably like the way you sounded to me when I came home and you were searching for my socks, like in another dimension.
Yep.
That's funny.
But it was just I feel like that 24 hours, just so many things happened, and it was crazy.
You seemed so worn out when you got back.
Oh, yeah, and then I got back on Valentine's Day.
Mm-hmm.
I was so tired. I felt bad. I was like, I want to do something like cute with Adam. And he had, like you mentioned before, roses, pink roses.
Mm-hmm.
I was all dressed up nice, and I looked like a bum. Ugh.
You looked beautiful.
Oh, thank you. But
I made dinner.
Chicken.
Cordon bleu.
Which
was very interesting to make. You have to pound out that meat, pound out that chicken. So it's like half an inch thick, and then you put like ham and cheese, Swiss cheese in the middle. And the reason I chose it is because I knew Marta likes Swiss cheese. So then you have to roll the chicken over top the ham and cheese, and then you just basically bake it. And it turned out really well. I really enjoyed it. I was surprised.
Me too.
It turned out as well. And then I had some green beans too, because I looked it up, and for something like that with like cheese and ham, I guess inside the chicken, that's a little bit heavy. So you might want something on the lighter side. So I ended up making green beans, which apparently are good for like if you're bloated.
Which I feel like whenever I travel, I always feel a little bloated. Yeah. I don't know if it's just like the stress and the discomfort of being in an airport. Not sure, but
you didn't. I was gonna say a lot of times maybe it's like the poor food or the snacks that they give you, but you don't.
I had pizza. That's all they had for lunch.
I could have hurt, to be honest. Pizza.
Yeah.
Going onto a plane. I don't know, but I know what you mean. For some reason I always get just like that weird, like my stomach doesn't feel 100% on flights.
And then turbulence. I had really bad turbulence going to Phoenix and from. And when it's so turbulent, I just get like really panicked, as I'm sure some people do. And that doesn't help with the stomach, because sometimes my stomach hurts when I get nervous. And anyway, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? I've been talking a lot. Do you want to talk about
It's okay.
what you've been working on lately?
Sure. I mean, I said it goofy, I know, when we were before the pod, but I've been chugging along on my application, and it sort of is going to roll into, actually, this whole topic, I guess, is going to roll into our next segment, and then my recommendation segment, but just like a little tease, I've been listening to something, and it's made me more energetic with, like, continuing working on it, even if I'm not anywhere close to being done, but recently I got past a certain part, which was like really a struggle for me. Like I couldn't figure out how to do this, and then I figured it out, and it was exciting. And then of course more problems pop up, because that's normally how it goes, especially when this is my first time. But I'm enjoying the journey. I'm actually really enjoying the process of making it and understanding what's going on and how to call certain API services and things of that nature. It's been really cool. I have a long way to go, but I hope to just keep moving and hopefully get there eventually. So that's basically what I've been up to. I haven't been doing too much besides what I mentioned in the beginning.
That's what you gotta do. Practice and put time into what you're doing,
and
you shall be blessed with success.
Eventually, when I become an independent iOS developer, I'm going to need a beefier Mac.
I think that works for now.
Yeah, for now. Yeah, for sure. I'm just saying, I'm going to need a beefier one.
I'm going to have to ask Santa Claus for that one, because that ain't in my budget for this year.
I know. I'm just saying, in the future, I don't know what the future is, what time frame.
That's true.
But I'm just saying, theoretically, I'm going to have to get, like, because I want to get there. That's my main goal, is to get to be an independent developer, just so I can work on my own type projects and just make a living that way, which would be nice. But that's a long way off, but I'm trying. I think that's all you can do, really.
Yeah, taking the first steps, which is very commendable.
I'm
proud of you.
Thanks. I think we've talked about it before, but those first steps are always scary, and you always beat yourself up, especially in the beginning, like when you feel like, oh, I don't know this stuff. But then you just got to take it one step at a time. Try to solve one thing at a time and then go from there.
That is true.
So, and then finally, this week, you excitingly...
I got my birthday present.
Yeah.
So...
I don't even see them. Did you bring them in?
Yeah, they're right there on the floor.
Oh, I'm oblivious. I just haven't looked that direction, apparently, when I came home.
So after having the same skis for 10 years, I was gifted by my wonderful parents new skis, which I'm super excited about.
They look really nice.
They are nice.
And they're like the wider kind, so you can ski in powder more easily, right?
Yeah. I actually, when we were in Utah skiing,
You thought we were going to get through an episode without us talking about skiing. Psh, silly listeners.
Sorry. Not sorry. It's my podcast to do what I want. Anyway. When we were in Utah, actually, my mom and I both rented skis to try, like these exact skis, but an older model, to try them before buying them, to make sure that I skied well with them and stuff, and I loved them. Like, it was so much easier in powder, because with skis, there's different models and styles and all of that. But for downhill skiing, apparently, I just learned this a few weeks ago, but the width of the ski affects how easy or hard it is to ski on powder. So powder is like fresh snow. It just snowed overnight, and you're like the first one skiing on it. And my new skis are a little bit wider, so on powder it'll be easier, because it'll have more surface area to like glide over the powder versus like sinking into it if the skis are too skinny. So yeah, I'm super excited. I'm
excited. We're going to be skiing in the near future too, so you get to test them out.
Yeah, pumped.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
That was a long segment of what we've been up to.
Yeah, surprisingly, we were like, oh man, we haven't been up to that much, and then we go on a whole 40-minute tirade of what we've been up to.
I also forget, like, I didn't realize that literally a week ago I was landing in Arizona.
Yeah.
Like, that blows my mind.
Mm-hmm. Cray.
But it's just, I don't know, just thinking back to that. It's so nice to have friends where you don't necessarily see each other. I mean, it's not nice to have friends that you don't see each other often, because obviously it's nice to see your friends. But it's so nice, like, when you don't see people for a while, and then you can just, like, catch up like that. I feel like that's really special, because sometimes it's, like, awkward, or you just totally lose touch. But I think those are some good friends to have.
Yeah. It's always nice when, because I realize that when I talk to people, like, over the phone, or, like, see them for the first time in a while, you sort of just snap back into where you were. And I feel like that's a sign of a good friendship.
Even at your now that we're using first names, Abby's wedding, there were so many of your friends, and it was so nice to see you, like, catch up with people. And it seemed like, well, not everybody, but a handful.
There's only really two main friends there, so to speak. The one getting married, and then my boy Nikhil.
Yeah, boy.
Before we move on to the topic of a discussion this week, I just wanted to mention, because a while back when I was talking about the book, I wanted to give the title. It's called Killers of the Flower Moon, the Osage Murders and the Birth of the FBI. So if you wanted to know what book that was I was talking about, there you go.
It's quite a title.
Yeah, it's a pretty long title, but it hooked me in, and it's been a pretty good book. I enjoy it. So this week, for a topic of discussion, I sort of just thought about it, mainly because of what I've been listening to, and kind of what you've been listening to, the Choose FI podcast, which you mentioned last week, and the idea of surrounding yourself with people you kind of want to be, and how that doesn't necessarily have to be all the time just like the people you're interacting with on a person-to-person basis, but it also can be listening to podcasts of people you aspire to be, or reading books about them, or like reading books from them and their experiences, or like you said, now you found multiple blogs that you're listening to or reading for financial independence. And I just wanted to touch on like how important that is for if you want to go for something. Like if you feel like you want to do something, surrounding yourself with people that have actually done it can inspire you to want to keep going, and realize that, you know, they probably were in this position that you are right now, but they've made it through, so you can.
I agree. And something that I actually heard on the Choose FI podcast that I recommended last week, I heard it on an episode I was listening to today earlier, and they were talking about something specific that this relates to, but I think this is relevant to a lot of different things. And it was the fact that when you're pursuing something or doing something that maybe isn't super mainstream or everybody knows about, that sometimes it can feel lonely.
Yeah.
And I think that that's really interesting, because it's true. And I mean,
it's kind of related to when we started the podcast. Like, people didn't quite understand why we were doing it, even though we were doing it for fun. But it did feel lonely, because it sort of was like awkward, because they didn't really know how to react to it.
Yeah. And I think a lot of things in life, I mean, I know a few of my like friends from elementary school and like a while ago, and even on social media I've been seeing like people our age or a little bit older or younger or whatever getting married, having kids, and I've been seeing more on social media about like postpartum depression or just like postpartum, the journey in general. Postpartum meaning like right after a woman gives birth. And even that I've heard is like can be a lonely experience, because like you just gave birth and you're with your baby, and obviously I don't know, I'm not pregnant, I've never had a baby, so I can't speak personally, but that's just what I've been reading a lot. So I think in life there's different stages, and just like even hobbies or interests that you might feel like you're alone in, because it's not something that people come together for a lot. I think maybe coding or this Choose FI podcast, they were saying that sometimes they feel lonely for certain situations. But yeah, that just what you were saying made me think of that.
Yeah. And I think it relates to also to what I've been listening to, which I'll name the podcast in a recommendation, but I've been listening to a coding podcast that the one that's like a short 30-minute podcast, is never goes over 30 minutes, which is like the main mantra when they start talking about it. But they like talk about like app development and what they're doing, and they sound really excited, and they've like been there. They've gone through like difficult bug fixes. They've gone through, releasing their first app and being like really nervous, and just listening to them now, like 10 years later, they say like when they first started and they're doing it as like their own business and doing their own thing, it makes me like feel motivated to want to continue. And then listening to them talk about like little tidbits about, sometimes it's in the nitty gritty of like, app development. It could be like about your data that you're bundling together when you release the app, or it could just be the one that I was listening to was just talking about taking a break, and they were just discussing like, yeah, sometimes you just need to take a break, whether that's a day or just like a 30-minute walk or something like that. They talked about it, and just it's nice to listen to people that have gone through that, and they've come out the other side, and they're doing what you kind of want to get to in the future. And it just makes me feel more motivated when I listen to them talk about it. And you can hear the genuine excitement when they're talking about it, and when they're talking about like the problems they encountered and like how they fixed it. And like you can kind of, it's weird to say, but you can hear like the smile and the happiness like on their face when they're talking about it, because they enjoy this type of stuff. And like it just, that rubs off on me. I'm like, yeah, I enjoy it, even though I may enjoy it more when I get to the level they are, where they're just like really proficient at it and they know like inside and out and they're really good at it. But I'm still enjoying it because I'm learning something new. And if I keep going, hopefully, and I stick with it and I get better and progress, I could theoretically get to where they are. I don't know if I'm going to be as good as they are, but I could if I just push through and try to do my thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think even if you're not feeling like super confident right now, or you're nervous or apprehensive, I think as with a lot of things in life, if you just put the time into it and learn as much as you can, I mean, you'll naturally get better.
Yeah, and I think it's sometimes it is, though, because I feel like a lot of times people get in their own way when it comes to even just learning something. Like it's just, because I understand when I was learning like when I was going through that book, I wasn't completely 100% sure if I wanted to keep going, because it's like draining going through all the challenges and everything and wondering if it's actually worth it. But then I thought at the end of the day that if I finally get through it and then I understand the concepts, then I can go and do my own thing, and I don't have to be constricted to just this book, which a lot of times learning is very constrictive and you have to do the set things and it can get a little monotonous and over. But now being free to do my own projects and listening to people talk about it, and then now I'm like reading up on, it's kind of like reading up on people, like their problems. Like when you go and search coding issues, you see there's a lot of forums like Stack Overflow, and they talk about like their solutions, and it's cool to just see people that they've had the same issues that I've had and they're getting help from other people. And I don't know, it just sort of all culminates with just not necessarily being around the people all the time, like on a face-to-face level, like I said before, but just kind of being in that environment and realizing other people have gone through the same things. And that also leads me to want to go to those meetup groups that I've mentioned to you, where like once a month there's like iOS developers that just meet together and they like work on projects together and talk to each other about what's going on. So I want to go to one of those eventually, except for the one here is like in downtown Denver. I'm not sure I want to go to that like in the middle of the day, because it's like after work
in the evening.
Yeah, that's what I meant. It's like after work at like 6:00, but in downtown, which seems like a difficult journey to get to at that time.
Hey, you can do everything once.
That's true. Very true. Anything else to mention about this? I thought it was very quick and very, I think, helpful, I would say.
No, I mean, the only other thing I can think of is, I don't know what my source is. I don't remember where I read or heard this, but it was that you are the sum or like the culmination of your 5 closest friends or 5 closest people in your life. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's kind of related to this, because if you want to be someone different or you want to be better at something or change some part of your personality or who you are, you have to surround yourself. It doesn't have to be, like you said, in person, but if it's someone that you follow in a podcast or blog and you feel like you're getting that influence from them, that really helps, I think, because if you surround yourself with people that just like sitting on the couch and playing games, like that's probably what you'll like to do, and that there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're interested in being an app developer, you have to go out and find people that are also doing that, because if you're spending time with 5 people that are exactly like me, you're not going to get anything out of app development, because I couldn't help you.
Financial independence, though, because that's what you've been doing a lot of that
stuff. Yeah, the podcast
stuff.
I listened to, I mean, I recommended it last week, Choose FI, but it's super interesting, and
I see you're also more motivated when it comes to that stuff now, because you've been listening to it more. You've been reading more blogs, which I think you're going to mention a blog in the recommendations, little teaser again. Man, we're just teasing left and right.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think it's, like you said, that was a good summation of you are like the 5 closest friends, basically.
Or people, like family.
I know what you meant.
But, yeah. Do you want to give your recommendation first, or do you want
Sure. Since it's related to what I was talking about, the podcast that I was mentioning is called Under the Radar. I'm not sure how many people out there that are listening to this podcast are interested in learning about independent app development, but if you are, I highly recommend Under the Radar. They're very quick, less than 30-minute episodes talking about a whole swath of different topics when it comes to that. So, highly recommend. That's all I can really say. I knew it from the get-go that I was going to like this podcast just by the voices and like the way they were talking, and they seemed like very uppity. I really like hammered in, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to enjoy this.
It's awesome. I feel like you've listened to so many more podcasts than the average person I know. But it's good because you just listen to different ones and get different information, and some are entertaining and some you learn a lot from.
Very true. It just depends on what mood I'm in. There's a certain mood. I know, like, if I'm, like, in, like, I don't want to listen to anything serious, I'll listen to, like, a comedy podcast. Or if I want to listen to something serious, then I'll listen to, like, a long-form discussion. But if I want to listen to something about app development, which I've been on a kick recently listening to this podcast, I'll listen to the Under the Radar now. And I found another one, which I need to check out, but it's related to app development, but not the actual development part, all the other stuff outside of it.
I wish I could say something, but I don't know much about app development, and I don't really want to talk about stuff I'm not knowledgeable about, so I'll just let you talk and acknowledge that it's interesting, and I'm happy for you.
Oh, thank you. I acknowledge.
I feel like I'm in a therapy session.
Yeah, no, I was thinking that too.
Anyway.
I acknowledge your feelings towards me.
Did you have anything else, or should I go on to my recommendations?
All you. I see your first recommendation, and I couldn't agree more.
Oh, are you going to steal it and put it as a shared recommendation in the show notes like you did with the Rosecast podcast last week?
Honestly, you stole the podcast last week from me.
I introduced it to you.
You should be happy that I gave joint custody to that podcast and then just put it on as my own.
Oh, speaking of joint custody, I went to the dentist this week, and paternity court was on TV in the waiting room. And I was like, what if I brought my kid here? And they started at, like, I don't have a kid, obviously, but it was a family dentistry. I can't imagine someone bringing in their kid and then the kid.
Hey, the secretary has to watch something, right?
Well, the hygienist that cleaned my teeth, her daughter ended up coming in later for a tooth cleaning. I guess someone dropped her off because she was 7.
Is such a bad thing? Like, paternity court is on? Like,
no, I mean, it's not bad, but it's... Can it get, like, really awkward and dramatic?
Oh, may lead to some questions from the kids.
Yeah, the kid.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's not the type of show I would really want to be watching in the waiting room of a doctor's office.
Mommy, why would Daddy need to go on this?
Yeah, or what's paternity? Why are they in court? Like, just questions I don't want to answer.
Why are there 2 men there?
Why are there 2 daddies and 1 mommy? And I don't know, kid. I'm watching this just like you are. Anyway. But first recommendation, Sumo oranges. They're literally clementines, but the size of an orange. And they're so good. I'm obsessed with them. Although they're pretty expensive.
Yeah.
It's what, $15 for a bag of 7 at Whole Foods?
Because it's like $3.99 a pound.
So each one's like
$2. You're eating basically $2 bill.
You're not eating it. Then everything you eat costs money, though.
I know. I know. There's got to be another place where we can get them besides Whole Foods.
That's true. But they're so good.
They weren't at Target, though, which was unfortunate.
And then I have another recommendation, which is actually a blog I knew about a while ago, but with the podcast I've been listening to lately, they kind of reference this blog as well. But it's called Mr. Money Mustache. Mr. Money Mustache. And it's pretty interesting. It's about personal finance and financial freedom and all of that, but he has a lot of interesting articles about retiring and money and just finance in general. I mean, there's so many, it's hard to explain them all right now, but it's interesting because I feel like they're articles that really almost anyone could gain something from if you're interested in learning more about personal finance and all of that. If you're like, I have a budget, I live my life, I'm fine, then you probably wouldn't be interested in it. But if you're someone that's like a little bit curious, like I was, I recommend it. And his blog, this Mr. Money Mustache blog, has been featured in Washington Post, Forbes, CNN, NPR. So it's not like a little mom and pop shop. It's one that's a lot of people have read and recommend to other people. So now I'm recommending it to the hot listeners.
I like your recommendations.
Thank you. I've come a long way from being like, I recommend peanut butter.
When did you recommend peanut butter?
I literally recommended the peanut butter with honey.
I forgot about that.
One time, like, I literally was talking so much in circles.
And that was the week you probably couldn't think of a recommendation until like the last second.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was it. But yeah, it was super... Is embarrassing the right word? Or was it just like, okay, Marta, let's get yourself together here?
Is there anything else you want to mention before we wrap this thing up?
Nope.
Nothing? Okay. This has been episode 37 of Husband and Wife Talks. Marta and I appreciate you so much for listening to us. Remember, you can find us basically everywhere. We are on Overcast. Speaking of which, the guy that does that podcast that I recommended actually developed the Overcast app, funny enough.
So cool.
We're available on Apple Podcasts, so if you're listening to us there, please give us a 5-star review. We're available on TuneIn, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, every possible place that you can find a podcast. We are there. Remember, share us with your friends and family. That's the only way we'll grow this podcast. We think they'll enjoy it because you enjoy it, right? Surround yourself with 5 people that are like you, and then they'll probably enjoy this podcast too. It's basically, like a pyramid scheme. Give them to those 5 people, they'll give them to 5 people, and then 5 people, and then bada bing, bada boom, we're a huge podcast. But yeah, you can email us questions, hotpod@gmail.com. The link to our emails in the description, along with our Twitter handle and our Facebook page. So please reach out if you want to. We would greatly appreciate it. But other than that, I think it's time to say bye, Marta.
Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye, y'all.